Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natoya, and on this channel we discuss and make art. So today we are going to experiment with Cyanotype. I've been messing around with this on TikTok, and it's just fun to see all the amazing things that we could do with this very early form of photography. So we're going to need our Cyanotype materials, part A and part B. We're going to need something to mix it in, like a little bowl, and then a brush. So I have like the bottom of a Sprite bottle and a watercolor brush, very technical, and then some water to clean your brush. And then I also have the negatives that I'll be using. So these negatives are from the late 1940s and 1950s. I picked them up at the flea market. So in my other life, my partner and I have a vintage company, and we sell like a lot of very cool vintage things. I'll link our stores down below so you can check it out. You're also going to need paper or fabric, whatever you choose. This is not a tutorial, by the way. This is just me figuring out what exposure to use to get the best quality negatives, to get the best like look from these negatives that I found at the flea market. So here you see me preparing my paper. I just have a long piece of 18 by 24 paper that I'm just piecing up and making it into smaller portions, because again, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, so I don't want to waste a huge piece of paper and have it not work out. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. So now that I have my paper ready and I have all my material ready, I want to go ahead and just like bring everything close to me so that I'm not reaching too much, because I'm technically supposed to be doing this in the dark, but I'm not. I'm doing it in low light. So I'm going to shake the Cyanotype solution very well before mixing it together, because it's been sitting in the bottle for some time. We're going to mix, it's in a two-part solution, so we're going to mix part A and part B. So part A is potassium ferric cyanide, and part B is ferric ammonium citrate. So what I do is I just mix a capful of part A, the potassium ferric cyanide, into my little bowl that I created here, and then I mix part B together. And Cyanotype is a very old photographic process that gives a really great copy, kind of like a blueprint. For well into the 20th century, people were using this as a form of copying blueprints and things like that. So it's been around for a really long time. Anyways, you're supposed to be doing this in low light or like a photosensitive area, because the solution is sensitive to light. So once I've coated the paper, and I'm using watercolor paper, by the way, I'm using Canson cold process watercolor paper. I didn't mention that previously. Once the paper is coated in the Cyanotype solution, I'm going to put it away in a dark area, which is under my stairs in the boiler room. It's the darkest area I have in my house, and I'm going to give it some time to dry. I also want to mention I mixed just one capful of the solution, because a little bit goes a long way, and you don't want to mix too much of the Cyanotype solution, because it only lasts for about 2 to 4 hours. After 2 to 4 hours, it loses its loses its potency. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak. And it's no longer photosensitive or light sensitive, and it doesn't expose the images that well. And I'm telling you guys this because I learned the hard way by mixing way too much than I needed and having to throw it out. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate throwing out art supplies. It's better to mix some more than having to throw it all out. So yeah, I'm just continuing to coat all my little pieces of paper of varying sizes until they're done, and then we're going to put them away and let them dry. While these are drying, I'm just gonna, like look through the negatives a little bit to see what we have. I believe this is just one family. There's images of like a hunting trip, and then images of, I believe they had a new baby, and yeah, there's just like a woman with all her children, and then there's this random graduation picture of a young girl in there somewhere. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to scan these images into Photoshop and invert them and show them to you. I can just do that in a slideshow. It really takes like no sweat off my back to do this. Plus, I have a brand new scanner that I really want to use. So let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. All right, so I'm just going through the negatives, just trying to figure out which ones I want to use, which ones are most interesting to me, and also which of them have the best light to dark contrast, because the light to dark contrast will do better with the cyanotype rather than something that's too light or too dark. So I'm looking for something with a lot of contrast. As you can see, my paper is now dry, and it is recommended that the paper is 100% dry before you start to expose it. It just works better for the print. So I got my negative of, I believe, a woman with all her children, or she could be a school teacher. I have no idea. And I'm going to put a piece of glass over top, and then I'm going to expose this with the UV light. So I didn't mention in the beginning, but I'll be trying UV light as well as natural sunlight to see which I think works best. So I'm going to expose this for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's recommended between 3 minutes to 30 minutes. But you know the image is fully exposed when the paper has turned brown. figured while I was exposing this, I would just like film a quick TikTok. So here I am, you know, checking it out and trying to film a quick TikTok video of me removing the glass. So after about 5 or so minutes, I removed the glass, which I know now in hindsight wasn't good because the paper isn't brown. It is still quite blue, and the best exposure is when the paper is brown. So I'm going to expose a couple more of the images and then show you how I wash them out. I'm filling up the sink with some water to wash the image out and kind of like set the image. It's similar to, you know, like developing a photo in stop bath or whatever. So as you can see, the image was not exposed for long enough and all the solution washed away. So I was like, I really wanted to show you guys that. I wanted to show you my failure so you don't also do the same thing. And I decided to just grab another piece of paper and put it outside this time. For some reason, I think the UV light just was not working for me, but it wasn't the UV light in hindsight. It is just my lack of patience. So here I have it outside on my patio waiting for something to happen, and that's my tomato plant. She is struggling currently. So I'm waiting and filming another TikTok and just being so incredibly impatient. It's not quite ready, but I'm gonna make it ready. But not ready. All right, let's wash this out and see what we get. I really love this image. I love the outfit that the woman's wearing. I just love that late 40s, early 50s fashion. It is everything. So this one did a lot better than the other, but I would have benefited from exposing the image for a longer period of time. But I am happy, and I'm going to set that one aside to dry and see how it turns out in the end. Okay, here we are again with another image of the woman with the boys or the children. This one has been exposed for a longer period of time, and as you can see, the image is much more crisp and it is working, and I'm so freaking excited. But the top didn't get exposed as well as I wanted it to. We're learning together. I think it's amazing that you can see like their little outfits and make out their little faces. A part of me in this moment was thinking if I washed it for longer, then the image would show much more brightly, but really that's not the idea. Here I am exposing the image of the woman again because I really want you guys to see how it's meant to look, and I'm really trying to get a very good image to work with. Here she goes in the water, and this is the clearest one so far, and it's because it is the one that was exposed for the longest. Like, go figure Natoya. Yeah, so towards the end of this process, I'm starting to get the hang of it, and that's why I needed so much pieces of paper, because it was so much trial and error. They didn't quite work out the way I expected them to work. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this video is less about a finished product and more about experimentation. Thank you guys so much for experimenting with me. These did not turn out like I planned, but through a little bit of trial and error, I figured out the best way to get the results that I need, and next week I will show you how I get a much better result by following the instructions. Oh my goodness. Anyways, now I'm going to insert the images. They aren't pretty, but this is where we're starting from, and come back again next week for the finished product. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.